Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you all here. Hey, Angie, good to see you. Thank you for your nice message. Hope everyone's had a great start to their week. Good to see all these friendly names in the attendance. So glad to have you all along. As you know, we're here in our regular slot on Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for free Tuesday training. And I'm Clive Jeffrey, and I'm going to be sharing some cool training with you tonight as to why you need to have a blog if you don't have one already. So it's an exciting week for bloggers. I've got an exciting announcement that I'm going to let you know about towards the end of this webinar. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. So yes, as I say, exciting week ahead. Got some exciting announcements with regards to blogging, and I think you're going to really enjoy what I have to say. So let's get into it. I will now share my screen. Now I've got working on my brand new computer, which I've only had for a few days. So if any little things happen, please bear with me. But it's should be a big improvement from what I've had before. Very fast, so really enjoying it. So here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get right into it. So there we go. Here we are, as I say, free Tuesday training, and tonight we're going to be looking at why you need a blog. So firstly, just wanted to go over who is Clive Jeffrey, so that you know who you're listening to. Basically, I'm a family man. Here's a picture of me recently taken down here in St. Augustine, Florida. It's my beautiful wife, Dawn, and my daughter, Jess, and my son, Scott. Now, as you can probably tell from my accent, we're not originally from the US, but from New Zealand originally, and been living in Florida for just coming up 2 years now, and loving it. It's a great place. So, bit of a background on myself. I'm pretty much a serial entrepreneur. Started working part-time jobs when I was still at school, and didn't really like school or university much, and I'm sure there's a few out there that can relate to that. My first job happened to be in sales, and this was probably one of I'd consider the luckiest things that ever happened to me, is that I got found a job in sales, because that really has been the crux of my career going forward from then. And I'd always wanted to work for myself, and sales was the vehicle that really allowed me to do that. Basically started my first business along with my wife in 1992, and now I actually met my wife when she's American. I actually met her over in the US in 1984 while I was traveling around the world, backpacking around the world. Took her back to New Zealand as a souvenir, and we used to come back regularly to the States to see and visit her family. And it was about 2012, I think it was, that our kids decided that they wanted to go to school over here. And at that time, we'd been running our printing and graphic design business, which we'd started in 1992. For all that time, it was like 23 odd years. And I'd really had enough of it by then, and was looking for something else to do. So nothing like a fresh change and a fresh start. So we decided to sell up and move across to the States. And so within 6 months of making the decision, we were over here in Florida. So, and haven't really looked back. And that was really my introduction into the home business industry, which was about 2014 by the time we got settled over here. So just wanted to let you know that basically, with my background in sales, I was dealing in the printing and graphic design industry, predominantly dealing with advertising agencies and blue chip corporate accounts. And we used to deal with them very much on the marketing side. I never actually ran a printing press myself. I was always in the sales side of things. And, that's what I bring to the home business industry, or any industry really, is that sales and marketing experience of, some 20, 30 years in that field. So I have a lot to offer. And so regardless of the industry that you're in, be it a home-based business industry or any business for that matter, I should be able to share some value with you. And that is what I've started doing with once I've got into the home business industry. I'm basically sharing what I'm learning, taking my skills over, converting them into the online process from the offline world. And that's what I'm sharing on these webinars. I basically share everything that I learn so that hopefully my followers can then go ahead and implement what I'm teaching, and they can do the same. So why do we need a blog? Let's get started with that, right from the outset. But I just want to cover first, with myself, when I first got started in the home business industry, I really didn't think you needed a blog. I was like, well, why? I don't like writing. I've got nothing to share. So why do I need a blog, which my mentors were telling me to do? So, I mean, and the biggest reason that they told me about was that there's only two things that you actually own on the internet. And one of them is your blog, and the other one is your list. And your list being your list of followers that your blog will help you create. So these two things are literally yours, whereas everything else, like your social media profiles, they are not yours. They can be taken away and shut down on a whim. And I've seen it not only happen to friends, but I've experienced it myself. And it's no pleasant thing to do. You work hard over a period of time, and literally overnight you get malicious complaints against you, or whatever reason they decide. You might have like your YouTube account. Some people that I know had videos flagged by competition, and the accounts were just shut down. So, as I say, the only two things that you can own on the internet is your blog and your list. So those are two critical reasons why we need to start a blog. As I say, you use your blog to grow your list. And the other thing, that by creating a blog, you become seen as an authority in your niche. Now, you're not going to start out necessarily as an authority, but that is, as you'll soon learn as we go through this, doesn't matter. You can literally start a blog and learn what you're sharing, much like what I'm doing with coming into the home business industry from the brick and mortar type business, is I'm sharing what I learn along the way. And that's what blogging is all about, sharing your experiences as you grow. And that's one of the things that, as we'll see, that by blogging, it's going to force you to do. It basically helps you or makes you learn new things. It gives, you've got a hungry audience to feed, and you do this by what one of my mentors, Ray Higdon, teaches as the invest, learn, teach method, which is basically invest in yourself, and it may be monetary, or it may be buying courses or the like, or just reading a book and then implementing it, learning it, and then teaching it. And teaching it sort of brings you full circle, and it helps you not only pay things forward, but it reinforces what you're learning. It really makes you internalize what you're learning, because to be able to teach it, you really have to know your product. Now, it makes you think clearer. When you actually have to put your thoughts down in writing, it really sort of makes you think about what you want to say. It's very easy to just blurt things out of your mouth, but if you actually have to commit it to writing, then you really have to put some thought into it to make it sure that you're getting your message across clearly, and that your audience is going to be able to understand exactly what you mean. Because I'm sure you've in the past sent an email and it's been totally misinterpreted by the receiver on the other end, and if you're not careful when you're doing a blog, the same thing might happen. But that being said, don't be afraid of blogging. You've got to start somewhere, and the beauty of it is that the more you do it, the easier it gets. It helps you write better, and which is a huge thing no matter what type of business you're in. And I was guilty of this. I mean, basically, I had a system in my printing career that virtually produced the quotes for us, and I had to do very little writing. It was only when I came over to this home business niche that I really had to start writing. And it's amazing how daunting it can appear or feel it when you get started, but it slowly just becomes like with anything. It's like I always equate it to either playing a sport or learning music, for example. Not that I can play music, but I've watched my kids do it. And, you know, at first it's very clunky, but then after a while you can start to recognize the tune, and then eventually it starts sounding like music. And writing is much the same. You know, you start off and it might sound clumsy, but as you get more proficient at it and the more you do it, it just starts to flow. And it really, you know, helps you. It really does. Like anything, practice makes perfect. And once you start getting better at anything, it obviously builds confidence. You know, it builds confidence not only in your writing ability, your thinking ability, but also in your knowledge of your chosen subject that you, or chosen niche that you're blogging about, because you know your knowledge is being built and your confidence grows accordingly. And this whole process comes full circle again and helps you speak more coherently, you know, because it all comes back to the thought process. Now, if you think about a speech, normally you will write it down and then commit it to memory, or not memory necessarily, but you know, you have to know the flow of it, and you know, it all helps bring this together. And even though when you're blogging, you're not necessarily planning on doing your writing to be able to speak, but this is a byproduct of what you're learning. So you're getting better and better all the time. So another great thing about blogging at the end of the day is that it can make you money, and done right, it can make significant money. And one of my mentors, as I say, Ray Higdon, is been blogging for about 6 years now, and he is now making 7 figures off his blog. And he is, you know, absolutely amazing at it. He's very committed. He basically writes a blog post every day, and I don't think he's missed it many days in the last 6 years. So he's very, very committed to the process. And now, as he says, he can virtually not switch it off. It just literally churns out money for him every single day. And wouldn't that be a nice problem to have? So stick with me, and we'll get to show you how you too can start making a money machine. So as I mentioned before, no, it doesn't really require prior knowledge, because you can start your blog, and as you learn, you can share what you learn. So it is a great way to, you know, really get your knowledge ingrained while you're learning it. Now, it challenges you. Not only are you having to, you know, write your actual posts, but it takes a bit to get your work out there and have it in public. I know when I first started, this was one of the things, you know, I was very self-conscious about getting my blogs out there. But like anything, you know, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And, you know, you face up to those challenges and you overcome them. And it's a good feeling once you do it. And while you're doing all this, it helps to build your audience. And that, at the end of the day, is where you grow your business, by building your audience. And that's the whole purpose of online marketing, is to really grow your warm market. So I'm sure, you know, regardless of the type of business that you're doing, it might be, you know, real estate, or you know, multi-level marketing, or, you know, t-shirts, whatever business you can possibly imagine, you need an audience to speak to about your product. And that might be you know, attracting people walking past your shop to try and get them in the door, or you know, you might, you know, in our case, we're looking to grow our audience online and get traffic to come past. So we're not looking for foot traffic, we're looking for people on the internet looking for what we have to offer. And by having a blog, it, you know, really is your shop face on, or your store online, where people can, your ideal prospects can come and track you down and have a look at what you've got to say, and have a look at your wares, and, you know, hopefully buy from you. And one of the other big bonuses, you know, what I was talking about before, is it helps you help other people, because the purpose of a blog is to share, as I say, what you're learning. And by doing so, there's going to be people out there, and that's what encouraged me initially to start blogging, and it should do the same for you, is that we always are self-conscious and think, well, what do I know? Why would anyone listen to me? But if you read something or learn something, not everyone else has done that and gone through that process. So you then have knowledge that you can share. And it's amazing how much you take for granted that you don't know. If you really think about it, you have an amazing amount of knowledge that you can share. And it's normally about your things that really appeal to you. That's what you ideally want to be blogging about. It should be what you're passionate about, because if you're passionate about it, you're going to find it very easy to come up with content ideas and share those ideas with people. And then you're going to attract people with the same interests as you. And, wouldn't it, how much better can it be than that, having attracting people to do business with you that like the same things that you like and are passionate about the same things. So blogging is hugely powerful in that respect. Because you've got to blog regularly to get any significant benefit, you have to be disciplined, and there's nothing like having the process of blogging. If you commit to this process of blogging, no matter how many times a week you're going to do it, ideally, you want to do it at least 3 times a week. I mean, possibly more. Daily would be great, but I know that takes time commitment, so don't set yourself up to fail. So start out committing to 1 day a week and then build up from there, and you'll find that, again, like anything, the more regularly you do it, the easier it becomes, and it starts becoming a habit, and then you feel that it's uncomfortable not to be doing it. And that's the situation that, as I say, Ray Higdon's in now. He feels that he feels like he's missed out on something, or he just doesn't feel right if he hasn't done his blog post first thing in the morning. And that's something that I'm working towards now too. One of the big things that a blog does is helps you build your credibility. When people are looking to do business with anyone online, they normally do a Google search, and if they come across your blog, they can go and check you out. And as I say, it's your hub, it's your home on the internet, and people can then go and see that you are legitimate, and they can see what you're all about, and you have literally instant credibility, because not everyone out there has a blog. If down the track you wanted to write a book, for example, on your passionate niche that you're dealing in, then by having a blog, you've literally in the process of writing your book, because you can sort of bring your posts together and literally form them into a book. And this is what one of the benefits of blogging. It's really as a stepping stone to getting published, if that is your desired goal. It certainly it doesn't have to be, but if it's something in the back of your mind, and a lot of people that are normally interested in blogging are not necessarily like me, who wasn't very interested in writing to begin with. A lot of people are attracted to it because they are interested in writing, and that's a great vehicle to lead towards getting published or finding a publisher for your material, because people can come and see what you've written, and you can build a following that would be very interested in getting hold of your book. And again, it can also help you get speaking engagement, just because of all the credibility that you are building in your chosen space. And as I say, it's a great way to promote either your art or your hobby, because, as I say, ideally you want to be very passionate about what you're doing, because if you're not passionate about it, people can literally tell. Another way to look at it too is, blogging advances your resume. It literally is an online resume where people can come and see what you're all about. And, it's great. It boosts your offline business as well. A lot of businesses now are turning to blogging to grow their offline businesses. There's, the fact that with blogging, it helps you grow. As I say, we've discovered your online audience, and those people, if they're attracted to your niche and what you're blogging about, the chances are they're going to be interested in what your offline business has to offer, because that's what the purpose of your blogging is, to attract those kinds of people. So it definitely is going to grow your offline business. For example, if you owned a sporting goods store and you were blogging about different sports, or your chosen sport, for example, if you were specializing like in golf, for instance, and you blogged about all the different golf courses, every time you went to a different golf course, you blogged about that, and you're going to attract people that like golf as well. And that way, you're going to grow your customer base, because when people subscribe to your blog, then you can send out relevant messages or marketing that they are going to be wanting to see, because it's their passion as well. So you can see the power of actually building your online audience through a blog. It also forces you to become creative. If you're looking at different ways to present your ideas all the time, and don't be daunted by this, because this all comes with time. You don't have to have it all perfect right from the get-go. You will get better and better as you do it, and it's it evolves, and people like to see that, because they too are in a similar boat. No, you don't like just get born a brain surgeon, for example. You have to work very hard to become a qualified brain surgeon, and this is no different. And people like to be able to relate to things and see imperfections, so that they too don't feel daunted about taking on a project as well. So you can come up with creative ideas just to present your material without to differentiate yourself from everyone else out there. So even if there's two people blogging about the same thing, the way you present it is going to be unique to you, and that again is what is so appealing about blogging. It also it forces you to acquire valuable skills. You have to, there's no doubt about it. Like for me, for example, I virtually had no computer skills whatsoever. So by forcing myself to start blogging, I had to learn how to do it. And although it's not that complicated, it was still skills that I had to learn. And there's nothing like knowledge, because people, no matter what happens, you can't have your knowledge taken away from you. And as I say, it's also you leaving a bit of a legacy there, because it's a way to document your career and your life, essentially, or your passion. And as we say, it's something that evolves over time, and it's literally is something that people, your family or whatever, at the end of the day can go back and refer back to. So it's like flicking through a photo album, for your kids, for example. They'll be able to go back on my blog and have a good laugh, no doubt, as they go back through my earlier posts. But it's a great way, of documenting, as I say, your career and life. And blogging makes you stand out from the crowd, because, as I say, even though there may be a couple of different, real estate agents in a certain marketplace, the one that's blogging about the area that they're working in, giving potential customers, potential house buyers, knowledge about the local areas. You can write blog posts about the local schools. You can write blog posts about crime rates in different areas, trends, new builds coming up, all new resource changes that the counties are bringing in, all that type of things. So you just think about, if you think about real estate blogging, those are different things that are content that your audience is really going to want to know. And by doing it, you're really going to stand out from the crowd, because most real estate agents wouldn't do that, and most salespeople, for example, in any niche wouldn't be doing that. But if you were the one that did it, when people come and find your material online, you're going to be the one that stands out with all the credibility. Because what we do is, and we'll get into this in more detail down the track, is that when you write your blog posts, there's ways to get your material found. And what we do is do keyword research. So we literally find out what people are typing into Google to find out, say, for example, that real estate agent, let's say they go into Google and find out what people are searching for in that area is with regards to housing, and then you write a blog post about what people are searching for, and that way, you're going to get found. So we'll get into that in more detail, but just to show you, it was just a quick intro to show you how it and why blogging becomes very powerful. And once you have your information out there, it's on the net forever. It's not like social media where it just gets lost over time, and like if you put a Facebook post up, it's gone within hours. It's sort of out of everyone's feed, whereas a blog is evergreen. And because you control it, it's not going to be a fad. Look at MySpace and things like that, then no one even goes there anymore. But your blog, if you do it right, is and you're providing information and content that your audience is looking for, then you're literally going to live forever online. And as we've been alluding to, blogging builds your authority in the niche. And I've described reasons why that is, because when people look online and you've got the answers, there's nothing like a teacher to be seen as an authority figure. And the thing is, with the way we are as human beings, we're always taught right from a young age that the teacher is the authority figure, and we, like it or not, when we leave school and go out, leave school and college and out into the workplace, if someone starts teaching or is seen as in the position of a teacher, you automatically get given authority, and that's what your blog is going to do for you. And obviously, when you've got targeted people looking for your stuff and they find it on your blog and they opt in to get further notifications of new information that you put out there, you couldn't get a better lead than that. And that's what this whole process is all about, is to the reason behind the blog is to obviously generate leads for our businesses, because there's a lot of work in it. But as I say, once you do the work once, and it can work for you forever. It's out there online forever and a day. And if you've done your homework right and produced your blog posts and content correctly, they're going to get found because they're being looked for. And that way you're going to continuously get these leads coming in on a daily basis that you've only had to work once to get the work done. So very, very powerful leverage way to grow your business. And on top of that, you can actually monetize your blog posts by having links to products that you're writing about. For example, in the home business niche, when I'm sort of talking about a certain tool or whatever that I'm using and found helpful, I can put a link in my post and invite people to go and check it out for themselves and see if it's a fit for them. And if they do that and it is a fit for them, then you make a sale and make a commission. And this can happen while you're in your sleep. So again, very, very leveraged way of doing business, or complementing your business, shall I say. So how do you go about setting up a blog? It's, it can be quite complicated. You have to go and get a domain, which is basically, for example, I like to use my own name. You can use it as your company name, but because of my specific purpose of my blog is to brand me as the authority figure in the home business niche, my blog is clivejeffrey.com. You're welcome to go and check that out. So that's called a domain. So you go to places like GoDaddy or Namecheap, where you can actually search and see if your name is available. Even if you don't plan to write a blog or set up a blog in your own name now, I strongly recommend that you see if you can get your name and buy it. It's like, I think it costs $9 or $10 on GoDaddy, and that's an annual subscription. So go ahead and do that, and you've got your name secured, and you can, if and when you want to start building up your blog, you've at least got your domain name secured. So the next thing that we need to do is, decide how you're going to build your blog. And WordPress is one of the best platforms to do your blog on. It's a very, very functional platform. It's probably the biggest one. It's the most stable, and I would recommend a WordPress blog for sure. And if you wanted to check out mine blog is built on a WordPress blog platform, and it is a optimized Press2 is the theme that I've done, and it works very, very well for an online marketer. It's very functional, and you are able to literally put plugins in. A lot of these terms may not mean much to you, but they're little bits of software that have different functions, like you can have opt-in pages or all that type of thing on your actual blog, sharing links where people can share your blog posts on different social media just by clicking a link. These are very easily done with WordPress plugins. Well, once you've got your domain and you decide which platform you're going to need to get hosting, and hosting is basically software again that literally holds your blog up out there on the internet. And there's probably a more technical way to describe it, but that's essentially what it is. It's basically where you house your blog online so that people can go ahead and find it. Now, if you're like me, then I would strongly suggest outsourcing the building of your blog. Now, unless it's something that you are passionate about, you're very technical, and or not necessarily very technical, but it's you enjoy doing that type of work, then you can go ahead, and there's lots of information out there on the net. YouTube is especially good. You can search how to build a WordPress blog, and you can go ahead and do that. Now, you don't necessarily even need a domain to get started, but I strongly recommend you do. Otherwise, it's going to be like wordpress.com, and then you can call it your name afterwards. But that's not, you don't own that, and it's not looking. I always like to look at these kind of things long term, so do it once and do it right. So, as I say, my blog, I actually outsourced it. I don't really enjoy technical work like that. In fact, it makes my head hurt. So it can be fairly expensive to get a blog. When I say fairly, I'm probably talking between, you can go spend as much money as you want. It's like buying a car. You can probably get a blog set up for $500, and then the sky's the limit after that. So as I say, I found for me the best thing to do was to outsource it, because I just didn't want to spend the time learning how to actually build the blog itself. I then just spent my time learning how to actually do blog posts and set them up correctly, because you want to optimize your blog posts so that they can be found. And that was one of the things that we're alluding to going through this process, is that there's really no point in actually putting blog posts up there if nobody's going to find them. So that was the process that we needed to go through, how to actually find, so that your work can be found on the net. And we do this not only by looking using the Google Keyword Planner for finding what people are actually searching for on Google. Once we've done that, we also need to do things like SEO, which is search engine optimization, which is again just showing or doing things on your blog itself so that Google knows that it's actually out there and can direct people towards it. But that's another training in itself. But as I say, for me, I wanted to concentrate on that side of things rather than actually creating the blog itself, and it worked out well for me. But what the good news is, what I was telling you about at the beginning of this webinar, is that tomorrow night I want to invite you to another webinar, and that is if you go to clivejeffrey.com/Wednesday webinar. Now, this is going to be a huge webinar. To date, there was nearly 4,000 people registered for it. So you really want to make sure you register now, and also get there. It's at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Get there probably 5-10 minutes early to make sure you do get on, because I don't believe that all those people that have registered are going to be able to get on. So you want to get there early. But what this is going to be is all about blogging, and it's going to cover the stuff that I haven't covered here tonight. It's really going to go and show you how to get your blog set up, and in the most effortless way possible. This is so exciting. There's the business platform that I use, My Lead System Pro, or MLSP, is launching a new blogging platform tomorrow, which is basically comes free with this platform that I use. And it's literally going to be a 2 to 3 click process to have your own blog set up. And come along tomorrow night if you have any interest in blogging whatsoever. And even if you don't and just been considering it for the reasons that we've covered tonight, why you should have a blog, you really, really want to be on this webinar tomorrow night. As I say, it is a free webinar, but it's going to be hosted by it's going to be introduced by Brian Finale, who is the founder of or co-founder of My Lead System Pro, but he is bringing on the great Ray Higdon to basically do the teaching. And as I mentioned earlier, Ray is an amazing blogger. He literally makes over $35,000 a day from his blog. He literally can't switch it off. It's just money just keeps churning in. So if you would like to come along and learn from someone who has created results like that, and literally 5-6 years ago, he was in personal foreclosure. So he's nothing special. He will tell you that himself, but he's just worked consistently doing simple things on a consistent basis and has enabled himself to grow this massive money-making machine that he, as I say, he literally can't switch off. But Ray's going to go through step-by-step how to construct your blog posts, and this is going to be after we get shown how you can literally create your own blog that is absolutely amazing looking and a fully functional WordPress blog with a 2 or 3 clicks of a mouse. So there's going to be no requirement for having it outsourced and being built. You'll be able to do it yourself. Even someone like me is going to be able to do it. So extremely, extremely exciting stuff. So go ahead, clivejeffrey.com/Wednesday webinar. Go ahead and get registered, and I look forward to seeing you over there. So basically, that's all the information we're going to cover this evening. I'm going to go back over now, and if anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them now. Just type them into the chat, and yeah, I'll just bear with me now. I'll just go back and stop broadcasting. There we go. So hopefully, you've got some value from that. As I say, blogging is an amazing, amazing way to grow your online business. If you haven't started blogging, I can strongly recommend that you do. As I say, myself, less than a year ago, was a total novice, hadn't done anything like this before in my life. Now, I think, I've just done my 85th, I think, blog post, and and I would never have dreamed that that would have been possible. So it just goes to show you that if you can teach an old dog like me new tricks, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it yourself. So hopefully, as I say, you've got some value. If there's any questions, please type them in the chat now, and I'll happily go over them. But as I say, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, get on that webinar. Go to clivejeffrey.com/Wednesday webinar, and you can register there and claim your spot. It's going to be very, very enlightening. This new blogging platform, as I say, it's based around WordPress, but it's just the hosting and everything is all included. It's just absolutely amazing. It's so simple to use and looks so professional. And I'm looking forward to actually transferring my existing blog over to that platform. So come along and join me tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't see any questions coming in now, so we're going to call this webinar a wrap. Thank you for everyone who came along tonight. Thank you, Robert and Angie, for your comments. Really appreciate you guys. And thank you, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on the webinar tomorrow. And if you need to, if some questions arise before now and then, you can always come and find me on social media. I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Clive Jeffrey. All my social media is all just Clive Jeffrey. You can just go ahead and track me down. I'm happy to help you in any way that I can. As I say, my goal with doing these training is to help as many other people get and produce and build themselves an online business, because there's nothing like being able to work online from home, and blogging surely helps you do that in a great way. So thank you, Robert. Good night. Thank you, Angie, and all the others. I look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week on freetuesdaytraining.com. Have a great night, everyone. Cheers.